Last week, I hacked my Anker Solix portable power station so that they could use cheap third-party battery expansion and accessories. It's a fantastic way to get more bang for the buck. It's a fantastic way to really leverage your portable power station that you already spent good money on. And a lot of you asked some great questions in the comments on that video. So today I'm going to answer some of those in depth. But if you haven't seen the original video where I hacked the power stations, you may want to check that out. So I will leave a link for that down in the description. So first question. So I did the same thing. I have not tried it yet, but I cut the cable and created a wiring diagram. Good for you. To be clear, are you saying that you must have the expansion battery connected also so the communication can open the port, or will it work by just connecting the 4 power and ground cable? The Anker cord has 2 power and 2 ground wires from another 51-volt battery. So when you say the ground cables, I presume you mean the negative cables, and there are indeed 2 negative cables and 2 positive cables inside the OEM battery expansion cable. And yes, as I mentioned in the video, there is more going on as far as communication than simply, a little jumper or resistor or something between some pins on the communication cables. And so yes, unfortunately, in order to make the hack work, you need the communication that the extra battery provides. So in order to make this work, you do need to have at least one of the OEM expansion batteries, at least for the F2000. That gives you a little bonus battery capacity. It gives you the communication that unlocks the extra battery port, and you're able to hook up basically an infinite amount of third-party battery expansion through these cables that are spliced into the middle. If you don't have the OEM expansion battery, the main power station unit will not get any kind of signal to turn the port on, and this hack will not work. Question number 2, can the 51.2 volt server rack batteries and the 12 volt batteries, I don't remember talking about 12 volt batteries, but anyway, take in power and export power at the same time? Or is it always a one-way street? For example, could you be charging via AC or solar while you are exporting part of that power? You'd have 2 connections on the terminals at the same time. So if I'm understanding the question correctly, the viewer wants to know if we can be, pulling power, so to speak, out of the batteries through the inverter on the power station while simultaneously connecting the ring terminals of this high power solar charge controller or, an AC wall charger or something to the terminals, and if that's going to cause any problems. And the answer is 100% no. Now, power only does flow one direction, so it depends on how much power is being consumed. For example, this solar charge controller, you can see right here, it can provide over 2,000 watts of power. For easy math, let's just say we have 2,000 watts of solar power coming in. And then let's say that we have a 1,000 watt load plugged into the Anker unit. So what's going to happen is 2,000 watts is going to come in, hit the terminals that the solar charge controller is attached to, and 1,000 watts of that power is immediately going to find the path of least resistance and flow through these cables into the Anker unit and provide power to whatever load you are running. And then the excess 1,000 watts will go towards charging the batteries. So the batteries are either charging or discharging or sitting idle. No power coming in, no power going out. Now on the flip side, let's say that the solar charge controller is only providing 500 watts of solar power, but you're still consuming 1,000 watts out of your power station. In that case, the 500 watts coming in off the solar panels are going to immediately find the path of least resistance and go and get consumed by the load, but the load needs more power, and so it's going to then draw the additional 500 watts it needs out of the batteries so that it can sustain the load. It's very simple, very basic. And so while there's no such thing as the battery taking in power, charging, right, at the same time it is discharging, there is such a thing as basically self-consumption, where any power you are providing via a charger of any kind will get consumed by the load first before it goes to charging the battery. And the batteries will make up any kind of deficit that the power source has. Next question. This would work perfectly with my C2000 Gen 2. Where does the fuse go that you mentioned at the start for method 1? Thanks for the video. You're welcome. Well, it just so happens that I have another video here where I showed this very thing and I had a properly sized fuse. I would do it right on the positive terminal. Now this is a golf cart battery, but the same thing would apply on the server rack battery. I would just join the ring terminal on the positive end of the wire and put the fuse in there, and then just attach it directly to the terminal of the battery. Next question. Great video. Do you torque the screws of the insulated bus bars where the ferrules go into? Yes, kind of. So you were talking about these insulated bus bar connectors that I featured in the video. And if you remove these little circular caps on the top, there is little hex key screw that you screw down in there. And what I did is I tightened it down very tight, kind of moved the wires around a little bit, and then did one more kind of quarter turn to really cinch it down. I did not get, any kind of torque wrench or anything out to specifically torque it down. It's possible that there are torque measurements in the instruction manual for these connectors. I do not have that manual anymore, so you could certainly look at that when you get them and receive them. But I just kind of go tight, tug the wires a little bit, and then a little further, like a quarter turn, like I said. And then what I would recommend doing is putting a heavy load on your power station and let it run for a while, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour. And while it's running, get like a heat camera or something and check the connectors and just make sure that they are not heating up. I have never had these heat up. They make a really nice connection. There's some dielectric grease and everything in there to really help make the connection solid. But it's much better to be safe than sorry. So definitely monitor it for heat and stuff under a stress test to make sure that your connections are sound. Another question. Why not just open the power station and screw additional wires onto the BMS leads? It should be easy if construction is similar to the C1000X. You just need to take the top off, and on the main board there are 2 screws connected directly to the BMS underneath. Sure, that would definitely be an option for consideration. And I actually gave that some serious thought. The only reason people may not want to do that is simply they don't want to, take their power station apart. That's like very, very advanced DIY, I'd classify. And if anyone's going to try to, quote unquote, skirt by the warranty and try to minimize the risks of voiding their warranty, there are different things that Anker could probably tell if someone has been in the power station. Whereas if you're connecting something externally through the expansion battery port that's designed to have stuff plugged in and unplugged from it, there's significantly less of a chance of warranties being voided, etc. Plus, you'd have to be drilling some holes through the case of your power station to get the new power leads out of it and in a position to be connected easily to it. And anyway, it's just a little more advanced than what most people want to try to take on themselves, except for a select few. But I certainly love the thinking out of the box concept. Watching Noise Lab's video for the F3800 Plus, I thought Anker didn't have any internal communication. I guess that's different for the F2000? Yes. Apparently the F3800 Plus, and I don't have one of those, but apparently its power terminals on the expansion battery are live at all time, which would have made this hack significantly easier. So if you have the F3800, then yes, by all means, take advantage of that feature. The F2000 does not have that, as well as, some others. A lot of the ones that have that little circular plug. As far as I can tell from the probing and different things I did, it's almost like a CAN or an RS-45 communication protocol they're using with a little round connector like is on the F2000. So feedback has been very positive on these question and answer videos, so I'm going to continue to produce them. So obviously, feel free to drop any questions you have in the comments, and I will certainly add them to the pool for future question and answer videos. Also, don't forget, down in my video descriptions, all of my video descriptions, I have these specific things to allow you to either submit a direct question to me, or book a one-on-one video consultation with me, or the latest and greatest feature that everyone's been really having a lot of fun with, my built-in dedicated search engine for my YouTube channel. You can just search anything like Anker Solix, right? And anytime I mentioned that in a video title, a video description, or a video transcription, it will pull it up on my channel. So you can either go directly to the video like this and watch it from the beginning, or if there's a particular timestamp that you want to take a look at, you can click on that and you can see right down here, it will actually jump right to that timestamp. So anyway, take advantage of this resource and all those others. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype. I sure appreciate all of you. We've got so much epic content in the pipeline. You're going to love it. Stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll catch y'all next time.